G'day guys, so this morning we are in Mount Field National Park. We are going to do the Tarn Hike Trail. We did want to do the circuit, but we've run out of time. We didn't plan the morning very well. It was a 6-hour return loop. It looks beautiful. We really wanted to do it, but last night we camped really far away out in the Southwest National Park by the mountains. It was beautiful, don't regret a thing, but the road in and out of there was a bit dodgy, so it took us nearly 2 hours to kind of get back out of there and a little bit longer to get here than we thought. So it's nearly lunchtime and we just thought a 6-hour hike isn't the best idea, especially because it is a difficult one. So we're just going to do the Tarn Shelf return there and back, which they do say is the most beautiful part of the loop. So I mean, I guess we're not missing out too much, but it is a beautiful day. It did say it was going to be cloudy, so we're hoping for the best, but I mean, we're going to be on top of a mountain, so who knows what's going to happen. So put on your hiking boots, let's go. We're doing the Tarn Shelf. After arriving at the Mount Field National Park Visitor Centre, you need to travel a further 14 kilometres up the road past the Visitors Centre, and that will take you to the car park for the Tarn Shelf. Many other hikes start from this location as well, but the most popular trails do start from the Visitors Centre. Leaving the car park, you will begin to walk around Lake Dobson. If you're wanting to do the there and back trail like we did, you will be walking along the left-hand side of the lake to reach this track. After the boardwalk finishes, you will head up to the path on the left into the almost tropical-like forest. Little glimpses of the lake can be seen along the way. If you're wanting to complete the whole circuit, which is a 12-kilometre in total and takes an estimated 6 hours, you can still start with this same track out towards the Tarn Shelf. But instead of turning around and heading back, you will just continue on. From everything I've read, most people have recommended doing the circuit anti-clockwise, which means this also would be the beginning of your trail as well. Once you walk out of the jungle of greenery, you will be placed on this 4-wheel drive track that is also a ski slope during the winter. You will enter it on a corner, so you'll be wanting to turn towards your left and begin the ascent up the never-ending hill. I say never ending because that's what it felt like. Just as I thought I was near the end, I approached the corner, only to reveal an even steeper climb. And on that next corner, yeah, you guessed it, there was still more uphill to go. It finally did end though, and in reality, it was only about 1 kilometre in distance. It was just so steep that I kind of wanted it to be over before it even started. The trail becomes way less steep as we venture into the mountains, climbing a few rocks along the way. Views can be seen along this whole section of the path as you make your way to the Seal Lake Lookout. From here, you can see Mount Bridges directly in front of you and an open view of Seal Lake. Our sunny morning had drastically changed as clouds began filling the sky and rolling down the mountain face. It was eerily beautiful in its own right, watching the clouds spill over the top. Even though it became insanely windy, we decided to continue on as we still had some small parts of blue sky left. We reached a small rock scramble that only took us a few minutes to navigate, and we made it to a nice flattened area covered with boardwalk. We reached a split in the path and followed the signs for the Tarn Shelf. We set out to the right, and this section of the trail was amazing. Looking out over the mountains and really being able to appreciate how big this national park was, as this small section didn't even scratch the surface. As we got closer to the Tarn Shelf, we could see the glacial water starting to glisten in the distance. We descended down the path of rocky steps towards the shelf and made our way past the Rodway Day Hut. We hiked out onto the opening of the shelf and walked past our first tarn. The path continues as you walk past several more tarns. For us, when the clouds were still hanging overhead, the water was not so vibrant. But as soon as we had a little bit of sun break through, the waters of the tarns would become electric blues and greens. You can see from the ripples of the water just how windy it was as it blows the surface around. Because we were not completing the circuit, we had to choose a point to turn around and go back. We climbed a large rock to get a fantastic view of the tarns along the shelf and decided this would be where we stopped. We had been hiking for 2 hours at this point, and considering it was only meant to be a 3-hour trail, we wondered if we had walked too far. The views were stunning though, so we didn't really mind. Even though the sun had now come back out, it was so incredibly windy that we couldn't cope with being outside anymore. As we started walking back, we took shelter in the Rodway Day Hut we passed on the way out. It was such a relief to be out of the wind, which was gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. While seeking refuge in the hut, we took this opportunity to have some lunch. After a short break, we braved it and stepped back onto the trail and began our trek back towards the car park. It was the most perfect day now. And all I can say is it's true what they say. You really can have all 4 seasons in a day in these mountains. So always remember to pack for every occasion because you never know what you'll encounter. Just over an hour and we had reached the track that led back to the lake and towards the car. We were now on the home stretch. Oh gosh. Alright guys, well, we've made it back to the car. I'm just going to film in the car because as you can see it's so windy outside, it's just so ridiculous. So we did the Tarn Shelf, just the return because we didn't have enough time to do the circuit, and the trail says 3 hours, but it took us 3 hours and 45 minutes. So we went 45 minutes over time, which we're a little bit surprised by, just because we didn't really stop. Like, we only stopped to have a sandwich. And I just don't know how you were supposed to do it in 3 hours, but
impossible.
It just felt like it took us 2 hours to get out there to the shelf, and then about an hour and a half on the way back, just because it was uphill the whole way and then downhill the way back, so it was a lot quicker on the way back. But yeah, it took us 3 hours 45 minutes. It was lovely, it was beautiful, great scenery as you can tell by the rest of the video. And now we're contemplating doing the waterfalls in Mount Field. So we'll either do that one today or we'll come back tomorrow and do that one tomorrow. But it's really windy, so we don't know, but the sun is out, so that is
yeah, it's a catch-22.
that is the positive, because you want to make the most of the sun, right? But yeah, no, we've done it. The Tarn Shelf, great first little hike in Mount Field National Park, so we're really looking forward to the rest. Thanks for coming along, guys. See ya.
Cheers.